Hello America, I am Scott Pelly, and welcome to 60 Minutes. Today's topic is Duchenne muscular dystrophy, better known as DMD. Tammy, 28, and Jim, 32, have had two children, aged 3 and 5, named Twyla and Terry. Tammy's brother has DMD, and the family is wondering if having two more kids is the right decision. Here is Steve Croft with more.
Tammy, Jim, we have recently learned about your fascinating story. Can you tell us more about what you've been going through?
When my family received the news about my brother being diagnosed with muscular dystrophy, the emotional toll was huge. I knew that his life was at risk, and any future kids of ours, their lives would also be in jeopardy.
This is the struggle that thousands of Americans face every year. Jim, what would the emotional and financial struggles be of having a child with DMD?
Well, we are really worried for our future. If we were to have a child with DMD, there would be many complications we would have to deal with. For example, many kids with DMD need a wheelchair by the age of 10. Many children with DMD also need a ventilator to breathe. These kids also have heart issues. The prices of medical needs and physical therapy would be enormous.
The household would be very stressful, and we would have to put a lot of focus on the new child, while we still have two other kids we need to focus on. I feel like Twyla and Terry would feel neglected with the new baby in the house.
It seems like you, too, have done research on the topic. Have you gone to see anyone for help?
Yeah, we have seen a genetic counselor and a doctor for assistance, but the decision is still very difficult. The family, still unsure of what to do, decided to seek out famous genetic counselor, Roger Yuskov. So Roger, you have been counseling the Johnson family over the past few months. Do you think there's a chance of their future kids having DMD?
Unfortunately, there is a fair chance of any future children of the Johnsons getting DMD. Because it is a sex-linked trait, Tammy could pass it down. There's a 50% chance that she is a carrier, meaning there's a 25% chance of one child getting it. There's a 50% chance that one of two of their next children would get the disorder, and a 12.5% chance of both their hypothetical children getting muscular dystrophy. It is my professional opinion that the Johnsons should not have any more biological children.
So the Johnsons should not have any more children.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if they wish to have two more healthy children, the odds are not in their favor. The children would live very unpleasant lives, as DMD is the most severe type of muscular dystrophy. But they could always adopt children if they truly want a family of 6.
Why do you think this family was struck with this terrible disorder?
Well, it is tough to say exactly when the disorder entered the Johnson family bloodline, but it keeps getting passed down from the mother of the family. You see, sex-linked traits can only be passed down through females. Females rarely have the disorder and are usually just carriers. Males, on the other hand, generally either have the disorder or they don't. They are never carriers of the disorder.
What are some ideas you have on how to curb the effects of the disorder?
There are many things that can be done to calm the effects of muscular dystrophy. Physical therapy, respiratory therapy, or speech therapy can assist the child in their daily life.
What do these types of therapy help?
Well, starting physical therapy early can help muscles be flexible and strong. A combination of physical activity and stretching exercises have the best effect. Respiratory therapy minimizes breathing difficulties as long as it possibly can. Eventually, most patients with DMD need a ventilator. And finally, speech therapy can strengthen a person's facial and neck muscles, and it can teach them to speak slower and use other devices to communicate.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Yuskov. Now we go back to Steve Croft speaking with Dr. Theo Feinstein.
For those of you just tuning in, Scott and I are here with Tammy and Jim Johnson, who have recently discovered a dangerous disorder, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, hovering in their family's past and future. I am here now with Dr. Theo Feinstein to discuss the medical aspects of the disorder. How are you doing, Theo?
I'm doing quite well, Steve. How about you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So you're the doctor of Mr. and Miss Johnson, is that right?
Yes, that is true. They have been coming to me for the past few years for general checkups, and now to talk to me about Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
How has that been going? Have you made any progress?
The visits have been more frequent, and there have been significant progress. They are currently aware of the systems, cause, cures, and treatments.
Can you tell us the symptoms of this particular kind of muscular dystrophy?
Well, some of the symptoms of DMD include progressive muscle weakness, frequent falls, difficulty getting up from a lying or sitting position, trouble running and jumping, waddling motion, large calf muscles, and learning disabilities. People with this disorder also often get respiratory and heart problems.
Well, can you tell us the cause of DMD?
Hundreds of genes are involved in making proteins that protect muscle fibers from damage. Muscular dystrophy happens when one of these genes does not work. Many of these mutations are inherited, but some occur spontaneously when the mother is pregnant. Because Tammy's brother has the disorder, the particular mutation is probably passed down.
Thanks, Theo. Now can you tell us if there is any cure or treatment to muscular dystrophy?
Well, unfortunately, there is no way to fully cure or reverse the effects of DMD, or any kind of muscular dystrophy for that matter, but there are many ways to treat it and slow the effects it will have. There are many types of therapies that can be used to strengthen muscles. There are also types of medications that can be used to slow Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
What are some of these drugs?
Well, general antibiotics will be used to treat respiratory infections, but two specific drugs include anticonvulsants and immunosuppressants.
For those of us who are unaware, what do these drugs do?
Anticonvulsants are generally used to treat epilepsy, but they can be used to treat DMD patients to control muscle spasms. Immunosuppressants can delay some damage to dying muscle cells.
Thanks, Theo. Now what I'm about to ask is a very sensitive topic. If you have small children watching our show, you may want to turn off your TV or ask them to leave the room. Theo, what is the average lifespan of children with DMD?
Many kids with DMD generally do not get to experience their years as a teen or an early adult.
Wow, that's very short. That must be very hard for the children and their families with DMD. What do you think the Johnsons should do?
It's not up to me, but I personally do not think they should have any more kids. But if they truly want to raise children, they can always adopt. I just think that having a child with DMD would be very hard for everyone around them.
Funny, the same thing was said by Roger Yuskov during his interview.
Well, Roger is a very educated man, and this was a seemingly obvious choice.
We now go back to Steve Pelly to wrap up our story here on 60 Minutes.
Thank you, Steve. Today we have heard two professional opinions and the troubling situation faced by Jim and Tammy Johnson. Will they listen to these two professionals, or will they test their luck against nature? Find out what happens in our follow-up story, which will be posted on 60 Minutes Overtime, www.cbsnews.com.